Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopijana Vallabha Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. glories to Radha Govardhana, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of devotional service. Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 36. If I'm a bit fidgety today, I've had a pretty bad back lately, so I'm a bit awkward at the moment. We'll just go line for line. Te dashani yavaya be udara. Vilas hashik sita vama shukte. Ritat manor hita pranams chabakte. Anechato me gatim anvim prayukte. Man. 36. Yeah, it's not on the board. Tat manor hitta pranam chabakte. Anechato me gatim abim prayukte. Chato me gatim abim prayukte. Jeez. Word for word. Ta by those forms. Darshaniya, charming, avyayavahe, whose limbs, udara, exalted, vilas, pastimes, hasa, smiling, ikshita, glances, vama, pleasing, suktahe, whose delightful words, hita, captivated, atmanaha, their minds, hrita, captivated, pranam, their senses, cha, and bhaktehe, devotional service, anichataha, unwilling, me, my, gitam, abode, anvim, satu, prayukte, secures. Translation. Upon seeing the charming forms of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness. His senses are freed from all other engagements, and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, he attains liberation without separate endeavor. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Srila Prabhupada Ki. There are three divisions of devotees: first class, second class, and third class. Even the third class devotees are liberated souls. It is explained in this verse that although they do not have knowledge, simply by seeing the beautiful decorations of the deities in the temple, the devotee is absorbed in thought of him and loses all other consciousness. Simply by fixing oneself in Krishna consciousness, engaging the senses in the service of the Lord, one is imperceptibly liberated. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Simply by discharging uncontaminated devotional service as prescribed in the scriptures, one becomes equal to Brahman. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Brahma Bhuyaha Kalpati. This means that the living entity in his original state is Brahman because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Brahman. But simply because of his forgetfulness of his real nature, as an eternal servitor of the Lord, he is overwhelmed and captured by Maya. His forgetfulness of his real constitutional position is Maya. Otherwise, he is eternally Brahman. When one is trained to become conscious of his position, he understands that he is the servitor of the Lord. Brahman refers to a state of knowledge of the absolute truth, but simply offers obeisances with great devotion. Thinks of the Lord, sees the Lord in the temple and brings forth flowers and fruits to offer to the deity. Becomes imperceptibly liberated. Shraddhayan Vitaha, with great devotion, the devotee offers worshipful respects and paraphernalia to the deities. The deities of Radha, Krishna, Lakshmi, Narayan, and Ram and Sita are very attractive to devotees. So much so, when they see the statue decorated in the temple of the Lord, they become fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is the state of liberation. In other words, it is confirmed here within that even third-class devotee is in a transcendental position above those who are trying for liberation by speculative or by other methods. Even great impersonalists like Sukadeva Goswami and the four Kumaras were attracted by the beauty of the deities in the temple, by the decorations and by the aroma of tulsi offered to the Lord, and they became devotees. Even though they were in a liberated state, instead of remaining impersonalists, they were attracted by the beauty of the Lord and became devotees. Here the word vilas is very important. Vilas refers to activities or pastimes of the Lord. It is a prescribed duty in the temple worship that not only should one visit the temple to see the deity nicely decorated, but at the same time he should hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or other similar literatures, which is regularly recited in the temple. It is the system of Vrindavan that in every temple there is talks of Sastra. Even third-class devotees who have no literary knowledge or no time to read Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita get the opportunity to hear the pastimes of the Lord. In this way, their minds may remain always absorbed in thought of the Lord, his form, his activities, and his transcendental nature. This state of Krishna consciousness is a liberated stage. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 important processes in discharge of devotional service. Number 1 is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The second is to associate with devotees and to serve them as far as possible. Number 3 is to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. Number 4 is to see the decorated temple and the deities, and if possible, to live in a place like Vrindavan or Mathura. These 5 items alone can help a devotee achieve the highest perfectional stage. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and here within the Srimad Bhagavatam. That third-class devotee can also imperceptibly achieve liberation is accepted in all Vedic literatures. Thanks for bearing with me as I read through that purport. So today I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation on the 5 limbs of Bhakti Yoga, which was presented in this purport by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Oh. Very. First of all, I'd like to offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Prabhupada and ask for the blessings of the senior devotees and all the Vaishnavas that I can say something of use today in Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's nice to be in the temple. So, today we're going to be talking about the 5 most potent forms of devotional service. And these forms are the life and soul of devotees. By engaging in these processes of devotional service, we can purify our hearts and move forward along the path in spiritual life. Spiritual life, I was talking to someone the other day and we were talking about when one first comes to Krishna consciousness, and it can be at first we come to Krishna consciousness and we're eating prasadam. As Australians, we love to eat food, so the prasadam's there and we're dancing, we're chanting in the temple. But after some time, things can get a little bit more serious. Certain things arise within our heart, certain difficulties enter into our life, and if we don't have a steady practice, or if we aren't anchored in to certain forms of devotional service, we can get washed away with the waves of material nature. So it's very important for us as devotees to always stay fixed in our devotional service. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 limbs, which are here up on the board. Everyone can see clearly, which is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Matira Vas, and Shraddhaya Sevana. I'm sure most people in the room have heard of these before. So the whole idea of Krishna consciousness is that for many lifetimes we've been getting washed around within this material world, and it's very, very bewildering. And when we're getting washed around within this material energy, it brings upon the living entity anxiety, frustration, anger, depression. So what we're trying to do when we're reviving our Krishna consciousness, which is our true eternal state, is come to a stage of always remembering Krishna and never forget him, as stated here. This is our real consciousness, and this is Krishna consciousness. And when we're operating in this state of consciousness, we're joyful, we're happy, we're loving, and we exhibit many beautiful qualities. And when a devotee is exhibiting these many beautiful qualities, they attract many others to Krishna consciousness so they can uncover their eternal state, or reawaken, I should say. So as stated here, when Lord Chaitanya began to list these 64 items of bhakti, he stopped at number 35 and spoke 5 particular practices which he said were the most potent forms of devotional service. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vas, Shri Matira Shradhaya Sevana. So here we see, one sec, I skipped a few slides here. The first one is Sadhu Sangha, one should associate with devotees. This is very, very important for us devotees. When I was younger, I wanted to own lots of gyms. And I used to get training off he would say like a business coach or a new thought kind of coach. His name was Bob Proctor. He left his body maybe 3-4 years ago. He was really famous all around the world. And he would always say on our calls that, and it's very harsh, but if you hang with dogs long enough, you'll catch fleas. It's just meaning how important your association is. And sometimes we can forget that as devotees, and we may be loose in our association. But if you spend time with certain individuals that may not have very beneficial qualities for us, it does rub off on us over time. And you start to take on those certain practices, what those people are doing. So association is so important. And he always used to say also that if you look at your association, the 5 people that you spend most time with, that's a good indication of the kind of person you're at, of a direction that you're going. And many of us here on the farm, we're so fortunate that we just immerse in unbelievable and lovely association. And another thing as a devotee is that we have to be very careful that we don't become proud as a devotee. Sometimes we may be moving along in our devotional service and we may be proud and thinking, yes, this is all me. And you step outside that sangha, you step outside of that association. But this association of devotees, it's like a bundle of sticks that keeps us nice and strong. And if we pull ourselves out of that bundle and we start to go alone, it's very easy for us to break and once again get washed away. So always staying in that sangha. And another one of my friends, he always used to say that if you put yourself close to the action, to the fire, no matter what you want to be in life, you'll eventually become ablaze also. So if you put yourself around these devotees who are leading by example, who are very staunch in their process, that eventually rubs off on you. And as they are ablaze with fire, you also become ablaze in fire and can one day preach Krishna consciousness and help as many people around the world also. So here it shows the potency of devotional service. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya, Sadhu Sangha Krishna Prema Janmi, Tenho Punaha Mukhya Anga. This is from the Madhya Lila, the CC 2288. And it's stated here that the root cause of devotional service to Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still essential. So it's so important for us to put ourselves in this association. Does anyone know where this picture's taken? Yeah. Yeah. I was there a couple of years ago. It's such a nice place. They're always very nice there. You can do kirtan. You can lead kirtan there. That's one of my favourite places in the world. Right, it's near Radhakund, just up the stairs. Yeah. Just going to read something here just from my computer from the association. Srila Prabhupada, he says that unless one is associated with devotees, one's devotional service does not mature and become distinct from material activities. Lord Kapiladev states, only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to the heart and ear. Moving down here. In the association of pure devotees, discussions of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and therefore he is free and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. Therefore, we should associate with devotees. If our friends are devotees, especially advanced devotees, and devotees who share our mood, then we'll be able to advance in spiritual life quickly. Srila Prabhupada quoted, a devotee should associate with those who have similar inclination, who are peaceful and who are spiritually advanced. They can guide us. This is very important. They can guide us during a period of our disappointment by giving us solace and reminding us of our good fortune, of Krishna's love for us. This is another really important aspect of having good association around us. The path of Bhakti Yoga or Krishna Bhakti, it isn't always a peaceful path to walk. We're still in the material world and we're going to have difficulties come our way. There's going to be certain hurdles that we're going to have to jump. And there's going to be moments in our life where people close to us, devotees close to us, are going to have to take our hand and walk us through difficult moments. That's when this association of devotees really shine. That's when we really need that close association, because we're going to be lying if we're going to say that life's going to always be easy. There's going to be many difficulties, and to have these beautiful people around us to hold our hands and walk us through these difficulties, we're very fortunate. It's very, very helpful. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Nama Kirtana, Jai. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. Would everyone like to say this one together? Hari Nama, Hari Nama, Hare Nama Va Kevalam. Karuna Stiva Nastiva Nastiva Gata Anyata. So it states here that in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is to chant the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So the holy name should be our life and soul. We should take shelter of the holy name. In the good times, the bad times, we should always be chanting, trying to deepen our chanting, making this holy name our life and soul. And stated, the holy name of the Lord Krishna is the best medicine for our material disease. And I'm sure if we had time, we could go around the room and everyone could really talk about the transformation, what took place in their life when they started to chant this holy name. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he concludes that there is nothing but the holy name within all 14 worlds. If the holy name is Krishna, and Krishna is everything, then the holy name is everything. And therefore, there is nothing but the holy name within all 14 worlds. And here's some holy name inspiration for us all. Nilakanta Goswami. I'll just read these out, just showing the potency of the holy name. Number one is more sweet than all other things sweet. more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. The entire universe, from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass, is a product of the illusionary energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality, again, I say reality, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. That person is a true preceptor, a true father, a true mother, a true friend, also only if they teach one to always remember the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. There is no certainty when the last breath will come. This is really important, this one. There is no certainty when the last breath will come and put an abrupt halt to all one's material plans. Therefore, it is wise to always practice chanting from very childhood. The holy name of Sri Hari is everything. Lord Hari eternally dwells in that place where truly exalted, spiritually advanced souls sing in a mood of pure devotion. The holy name of Sri Hari is everything. Aho, what a sorrow, what a great sorrow, more painful than any other misery in the world, mistaking it as a mere piece of glass. The people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. It should be heard again and again with one's ears. It should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. The holy name of Sri Hari is everything. It makes the entire universe seem insignificant as a blade of grass. It reigns supreme over all this splendor manner. It is full of eternal consciousness and divine ecstasy. It is supremely pure. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Now this is showing the potency and the brilliance of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhagavata Shravana, so hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, such an important process for devotees. We just had Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. It's a beautiful day for Vaishnavas to remember everything that Srila Prabhupada brought forward to us and the sacrifices that Srila Prabhupada made. And when you really think back, you know, Srila Prabhupada in those early days after he took sannyas and really started diving deep into his writing works, he just dedicated so many hours to getting these books out to us, which can completely transform lives all around the world. And many of us, we didn't get the association of Prabhupada, and sometimes that's very heartbreaking for many devotees. We never got to see Srila Prabhupada walk up this hill here and come into the temple and offer obeisances and, you know, give Bhagavatam class and go on morning walks around here. But Srila Prabhupada is in his books. We get that same association through reading his words within these books. And if we make these books our life and soul, we make Prabhupada our life and soul. It's very special. And Lord Chaitanya, he recommended the Bhagavatam as a spotless Purana. So I'm just going to read this from the computer. Srila Prabhupada said that religion without philosophy becomes sentimental or even fanatical. We practice both bhakti and Vedanta. Srila Prabhupada embodied the perfect combination of these two qualities. We can become a perfect follower of Bhakti Vedanta, a real devotee and a scholar by reading this one book, the Srimad Bhagavatam, with the Bhakti Vedanta purports. So, just wanted to touch on this a little bit. As we go in our path of bhakti, whether we're new or we've been around for a couple of years, we're going to be engaging in devotional service. And through this devotional service, we're cultivating a relationship with Krishna. But one of the most important aspects of Krishna Bhakti is that while we're practicing this devotional service, we're doing service, we're getting association, we have to be reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Because when we understand, there's a verse in the Ishopanishad, Mantra 14, and it says that we should know Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes perfectly, as well as his temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men, and animals. So this is very important. We need to understand Krishna, but we also need to understand this material world because it's a very bewildering place. So if we're going along practicing our bhakti yoga and not reading and not understanding what's happening to us internally, what's happening to us externally, we can become very bewildered. But if we read and if we study Srila Prabhupada's books, once again, we're able to navigate this material world and push forward in our own Krishna consciousness. So it's a very important aspect. And as I've said in many classes, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he said, if you chant 16 rounds a day, and if you read Srila Prabhupada's books 2 hours a day, so 16 rounds, 2 hours of reading, Maya will not touch you. So Bhakti Tirtha Swami would often say in his classes. So marrying them two together, so important. And if you can't make it to Bhagavatam class, listening to class on, we got all our YouTube these days, so many access to everything online. So whatever occupation we perform, whatever spiritual activity we do, if in the end it does not awaken within us deep attraction to hear about, to chant about, to serve and to love God, then we have missed the point. We have wasted our time. Mature Vas visit the Holy Dham or residing in the Holy Dham. We're very fortunate here at New Govardhana that we live in a Holy Dham. It said that wherever there's Bhagavatam being spoken, that place is a place of worship, so a Holy Dham. So we can make our home Vrindavan. Going to Vrindavan is a matter of consciousness. That consciousness can develop in any part of the world, wherever you are. That is Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya told Lord Chaitanya. This is interesting where you can make Vrindavan your home. And when Srila Prabhupada first came to the West, then when the devotees didn't really understand what they were feeling when Srila Prabhupada walked into a room. They didn't know until they went to Vrindavan that he was actually carrying that feeling of Vrindavan all around the world with him. So very ecstatic. Another thing that I found in my early days of devotional service, that going to the holy places and going to places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, it really brings everything alive. You can read the CC, you can read these pastimes about Srila Prabhupada, you can read the Srimad Bhagavatam, but when you actually go to Vrindavan and you go to the Radha Damodar temple, you can actually see where Srila Prabhupada lived, or you can go to the place like here, the Madan Mohan temple. These places have been around for so long, have so much history, and it just really brings Krishna conscious alive. So very important for devotees to try to get there as much as possible. And like it said in one of these previous, at the end of the day too, Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. And to finish up, so serving the deities, Shraddhaya Sevana, so worshipping the deities. We're so fortunate each and every day that we get to see beautiful deities here at New Govardhana. It's very purifying to the heart, very purifying to our consciousness. I remember when I first came to a Hare Krishna temple many years ago, I walked in here and I didn't really know much about deities. I think it was like Shanti Prabhu. And I originally thought, I don't know if this is quite offensive to say, but I thought Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they were women. I just didn't know anything. I just came here, didn't have any idea what Krishna conscious was. But by learning about Krishna and the deities reveal themselves to you more and more, it's just such a beautiful process. And we can build and cultivate a very personal relationship with Krishna. We're very fortunate. This is a quote by Srila Rupa Goswami, what I wanted to add. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he states, "My dear friend," many of you have heard this, "if you still have any desire to enjoy the company of your friends within this material world, then don't look upon the form of Krishna, who is standing on the bank of Keshigat. He is known as Govinda, and his eyes are very enchanting. He is playing his flute upon his flute, and on his head there is a peacock feather, and his whole body is illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. Always thought that was very beautiful. Krishna consciousness is a science of practical action, not an armchair philosophy. Deity worship is meant to fully engage our senses in serving a form of a supreme person we can see and touch. One can bathe, dress, feed, and decorate the deity, as well as entertain him by singing and dancing. The more absorbed in such service we are, the more tangible our relationship with Krishna becomes. And here we have some of the original deities here in Vrindavan. So these Vrindavan deities of Madha Mohan with Srimati Radharani, Govinda with Srimati Radharani, and Gopinath with Srimati Radharani. These deities are known as the life and soul of the Vaishnavas. I'm sure many of you have gone to see these deities. Just by seeing these deities, very purifying to the heart, awakened love of Godhead. We're so fortunate. We've got a little bit more, but we'll stop if there's any kind of squared it up there. Thank you, chant and be happy.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Padmalocan Prabhu, for a very engaging class. Very, very nice. Just a quick comment and then another question. So I don't know if you're aware, but the very first painting of Panchatattva, the artist, who was one of Srila Prabhupada's earliest disciples, he also thought that they were women. And so he had painted them all with breasts.
Yeah.
And then when the painting was unveiled, apparently Srila Prabhupada went, oh.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed that time. I'm pretty sure it was Shanti Prabhu.
Right.
Really embarrassed.
Anyway, just the other point, with the 5 processes that you've very nicely been discussing, I've heard it commented a couple of times by other speakers in class that out of all the processes, the first one that you had, sadhusanga, it's actually considered the most, I don't know if the word was important, or the one that we should focus on, because through sadhusanga, we get the other 4 also, so by associating devotees, because devotees are always chanting, they're always visiting the places of pilgrimage, they're always studying Srimad Bhagavatam, 1000, etc. So if we do focus on that one, then the other 4 will come easily.
Yeah.
Did you want to comment more on that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I've always found for myself, I've always been very observant in my spiritual life. I always like to look around and see what other devotees are doing, and they seem to be going nicely in their spiritual life. And I've always found that, I'll just talk on the Sadhu Sangha point here, but I've always found those who have had very strong relationships with devotees, and I've made a big effort with devotees, and also, to be very understanding and understand also that everyone's going through certain things, but to just really make an effort to cultivate really beautiful understanding relationships can be very, very helpful in one's spiritual journey. As we know, the opposite to that, something like Vaishnava Aparad, can really destroy someone's spiritual path. So to really take shelter of the devotees and to glorify the devotees and see the best qualities of the devotees, and to long for their association. Like you said, we can learn so much from others. We've all experienced different things. We've all gone through difficulties. We can learn from that. We can learn from each other, and that can really help us and propel us in our spiritual life. Like it said in that quote on the board, it doesn't matter where we're at our spiritual life. If you're a very new devotee or if you're a very advanced devotee, that does not matter. We should always be hankering for the association of devotees. And that's a very important aspect of Krishna consciousness. That's it. Well, good. We can finish up. So as devotees, taking as much advantage of these 5 limbs of bhakti at New Govardhana. We have a facility here to engage in these as much as possible. With the internet, it can make things easier these days. You know, we can listen to Bhagavatam class, we can read on there, but we've also got to be careful that we don't get washed away on the internet and everything else that it provides. So yeah, always remember Krishna, never forget him, and make your life perfect by engaging in this Krishna bhakti. If we just follow what Srila Prabhupada has laid down before us, our life will be perfect. We make our life perfect, and we can make so many other lives perfect by engaging in the service of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki!